Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jenny. For those of you who are just tuning in to my channel, now listen up, you guys. My podcast has started, Soul to Soul Connections with Jeni Ji. There are interviews all booked. I'm actually pretty booked up this summer already. I'm just waiting for my team actually to put the first video out. So make sure you stay tuned, and that way you can see some really exciting interviews that I have booked up and talked to. I'm so grateful for everybody I have chatted to. And if you do feel that you have a story, an inspirational story that you'd like to share with me, by all means, send me a message. Best way, just go through my new website, soulworkwithjennig.com. And if you also want to book a clairvoyant psychic reading, make sure you book through my website and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So let's talk about this week's energy, the 20th of June to the 26th. What's coming up for you guys? We have the solstice season, summer or winter, depending where you are. It could be the longest day of the year or the shortest day of the year, depending where you're at. So it actually takes me back to when I went to Stonehenge. I was going to have my background with some photography I did when I was out in England and Stonehenge, but I was really drawn to this Buddha energy. So, I've channeled with the Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness for many, many, many years. You can read about that more on my website as it is. So go with what you're drawn towards, you guys, always. So you're also going to find this week, soulmate and twin flame energy is again lingering on and going. Karmic relationships is going to be highlighted. So there could be endings as well. Or you might decide that you're not ready to end. Don't ever judge anybody. Don't ever judge anybody for their journey. You're also going to see and have seen, there's certain people that if you're not up to their expectations, well, this person is doing this, this, and that, and you're not, so we're moving on. Then have them move on. Know your worth. Don't change who you are to please somebody else. So some of you have been going through that for quite some time, and that's going to continue on. The universe is here to help you be authentic. Why would you be somebody who you're not? So we are moving into Cancer season. Happy birthday, my fellow Cancers. How many of you guys are Cancers? So also on the 24th of June, I want to wish one of my best friends, Tammy, happy, happy, happy birthday, Tammy. I've known Tammy, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, since I was 14, 15. And believe me, I'm not a young chicken anymore. So I've known her for many, many years. So I'll be seeing her really soon. So you're going to be focused on more family and home. You're going to want to be more secure, stability, get things resolved. So let's start talking about the 20th to the 21st. You're going to want to slow down. That free shadow of Mercury retrograde started on the 13th of June. The actual retrograde, of course, comes in at the end of the month. So technical issues. I mean, I even sent a message to somebody yesterday and he responded to me this morning, Jenny, I got like 3 emails the same. Mercury retrograde. I only sent it once. So a lot of wacky things can go on. So make sure that when you're sending messages to check it, make sure you check your sent folder to make sure you sent it to the right person. Check your junk and spam folders if you're waiting to get a message back and you haven't received it. I mean, I always do that year round myself because any messages can go anywhere, junk, spam folder. So check that out. So as we're moving into the solstice energy, new doors are opening. Pay attention. It can be in any direction for you. If it feels right, go with it. We can have opportunities being presented to us. And we're like, oh, I don't know if that's right for me. Make sure it resonates with you and it feels right because we have the sun in Cancer as well, Cancer season. So, You're going to want to see more clarity. You're going to want to be more focused right now on your priorities. You're going to want to build foundations for your future. You're going to want to build foundations now to stabilize your future. And make sure you always listen to your heart. It's so important when you're making decisions, listen to your heart, but also listen to your head. We've been restricted for so long by just certain circumstances, of course. Well, why haven't you done this? Why haven't you just up and done that? Well, maybe there's reasons why. Maybe there's certain circumstances. You can't judge people, you guys. Like I can't say that enough. I've seen that so much lately. You have to live your life according to my expectations. And if you're not, I don't tolerate that. This is who I am. I'm not changing myself to please anyone. Look at where your heart is. If you are doing things from your heart with the right intentions, that's all that matters. Like, goodness, you guys. Oh, seriously. So there's going to be some breakthroughs, of course. Your intuition's going to be a lot stronger right now. Your sleep could be a little bit off because the energy is very powerful. You could get more messages coming in. Like I channel all the time and I get messages coming in 24/7. Even in the middle of the night, some of you guys could wake up, you know, and you could start pay attention to what you start feeling or hearing during that time. So dreams are going to be more vivid as well. Pay attention to that. So you're going to make big changes this time because you're more ready now. You're going to be like, you know what? I've had enough of this. I've had enough of that. I'm no longer happy with my job, where I'm living, with my relationship, with this or this or that. You know, Depending on circumstances, sometimes we're not in a position to just quit our job because we have to survive. I mean, I'm by myself, it's just me. So, I mean, it's not like there's other handouts coming in. So I depend on me, myself, and I only. I don't depend on anybody else. So if you have a job and you're able to financially leave, then you can do it. If you're like, I can't leave my job right now because I don't know when I'm going to get another one, make sure you confirm another job first, 100%, then give your notice in. Even if you're in a bad situation, I'm just going to quit. I would still give notice that you're going to leave. You don't want to cause any kind of bad karma along the way because what and how other people treat you, that's their karma. As I mentioned, there's a lot of people that are trying to manipulate others, control others, to do things their way. If it's not up to their standards, they think they're high and mighty. You don't need to be in that. You don't need to belong to that. So your eyes have opened. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? A lot of truth is coming out and is coming out. And it's not only worldwide, which is obvious, but you're going to find that with family, with friends, business connections. The truth is showing. I promised all of these things. Where is it? Nothing's happening. Or you still haven't done that, all of that. So go on your own flow. I personally, I observe a lot, even whatever, somebody's saying to me, let's say I observe a lot. I don't react to it. I don't waste my energy and my time. We all have different things we have to go through and experience, lessons learned. Like I'm saying, we are in that karmic relationships as well. So karmic relationships doesn't need to be just like a romantic connection. It can be with anybody. So the 22nd and 23rd of June, relationship changes. This is what I just mentioned. Relationship changes can be bringing you closer together with your person. Soulmate twin flames could be really thriving in love and getting closer right now during this time. Karmic relationships are going to be more highlighted. So karmic relationships, oh my gosh, I know my partner isn't good for me, or this person, but I'm not ready to let go. I'm just not ready to let go. You have to be ready to let go. And don't judge somebody. Oh, they're stupid for, don't do that. There's many different reasons. I also do Akashic past life records. So there very well could be that karmic tie with that person. And that's why you haven't let go yet, or you're not ready to let go. Trauma bond, we feel that if we connect with somebody in a traumatic way, we're going to get closer. Yes, you can get closer because then you can relate to each other, but it can get really toxic. So, that's why it's like not every single person is dealing with the same situation. Of course not, for goodness sake, you know. So love situations can be very amazing right now. So you can feel off kilt as well during the 22nd and 23rd, especially if you're struggling with karmic relationships. If you're not ready, don't do it. Sometimes you're like, I know I have to do it. I know I have to resolve it now. And I always suggest do it right now. Whatever it is you have to resolve with any situation, not just with relationships, do it right now before the actual retrograde comes in, because the themes that you're dealing with right now is what you're going to be continually dealing with in the actual retrograde if it's not resolved right now. And when that retrograde comes in and stuff like that, it can be like, wow, oh, that wasn't good. The retrograde can be really hard, delays, miscommunications, technical issues, right? Like it goes on and on and on. And we have like solar flares that comes in between hands, solar storms. A lot happens with our body as well. I don't talk about that all the time because it's constantly with this or this or that. Any health concerns, make sure you get it checked. Mercury retrograde is a good time to book those medical appointments. It's better to sometimes I got to make sure I'm okay than I don't know what's going on, especially if you have some concerns, always. And your pets as well. Don't push that aside. So if you are resolving things, let's say if you ended a karmic relationship or even a relationship, you could feel more at peace. If you've made certain decisions and you're feeling more peace within, that's the right direction for you and you made the right decision. Endings can be really painful, of course. However, for every ending, a new door opens up. It does. I don't trust that. I'm too scared. I understand. I get it. I get it. Sometimes we have to take those risks. If you're not happy with certain things, start making changes with it. Some changes take longer to make, some changes are we can do right away. It just really depends. And you have to go in your own flow and don't be hard on yourself, for goodness sakes. I'm hard on myself, right? Like I'm working on stuff all day long. I mean, I usually don't get into bed until maybe 11 p.m. at night because I'm working on a lot of different things during the day. I'm up like around 6 on average, sometimes a little earlier, and as soon as I get up, I'm answering messages. I'm on the go doing a lot of different things. So, people don't realize that, but yes, it's the facts of life, right? It's just me. It's just who I am. So really pay attention to what's really awakening you right now, and we can get awoken by even negative situations. Like I always take a negative situation and turn it into something positive, because if we stay in that negative mindset, we can attract more of that to us. Yes, life happens, things come up, we have to deal with things. That's part of life, of course, but it's how we truly go about it and work through it. I handle a lot of things on my own, always have. I might say, well, I got this kind of going on. I talked to a friend of mine about a couple of things. I appreciate his advice and stuff like that, but I always listen to what feels right for me. You can get advice from many different people. We meet lots of different people in life, and no matter what anybody says, listen to your own heart, listen to what resonates with you always. Well, this person said this, and that. I understand. I tune in and listen to what messages come through from spirit. I had one people say, well, six psychics told me this was going to happen. I might completely and utterly see the opposite. I don't go by what other people have said, what other psychics have said. I tune in to what my spirit guides are telling me, what the Christ consciousness is telling me, what energy and messages I'm seeing, not by what anybody else says. So, or else, somebody could say, oh, yeah, sure, whatever. If six people are telling you that, then go with that. Listen to your soul for goodness sakes, you guys, you know. So as we're ending the week on the 26th, you very well could be like, you know what, I need some space for me. I need some silence time. I need time to just do nothing. I just need time. When I have moments myself and I'm like, I'm tired. Sometimes I'll just sit back and watch Netflix or, of course I spend time with my puppy Valentino. Of course, he's my baby, getting really big. Oh my goodness sakes. So, do what works for you. Like the 26th, you might find that you're going to start making different changes with your routines. I'm not happy with the routine I'm doing. Okay, we can switch it up a little bit. What are you not happy with? Is it your health? You could change your health routine. Is it maybe, I got to start to listen more. Maybe I have to start speaking up more. Maybe I have to just change everything, change what's not working. Baby steps. That's why there's short-term goals and long-term goals, because sometimes, as I mentioned before, we can do things right away and make changes, or certain things. A lot of things I'm working on right now are long-term goals. It can't be pushed under the circumstances. If I had millions of dollars or something, that would be a completely different situation, of course. But we have to go on our own flow with what's working for us and look at reality. So you might find that you might want some quiet time. I'll turn off my phone or turn it on mute certain times of the day because it's like, you know what? I have this to focus on. I have this to work on, or maybe I just need some space. I'll turn it on mute. I mean, I'll get back to people and messages and certain things. Of course I will. But you might find that, you know what, I just really, really need some space and time to me right now today. You've been through a lot. We've all been through a lot, a lot. Don't compare your journey with somebody else's because we all have our own footprints, our own path to work on. We all have our own journey. We can have similar journeys with other people, but it doesn't mean it's the same. If you had a lot of, like support, let's say from a partner or family or somebody, that's completely different. But there's people that don't have that. But why would you judge people? My God, you guys, you truly don't know. So you're going to take charge more on the 26th. Start writing things down. Don't worry about, geez, you know what? How am I going to do this? How am I going to get there? How? Don't worry about how. When we think of how, we go into fear. Fear blocks energy, blocks things from happening, right? So be gentle with yourself. Show more love and compassion towards yourself. Do that, you guys. Like, for goodness sakes, there's a lot of people who can be very arrogant and ignorant, and it's just like, wow. I mean, even the energy from, the last few days, even last week, if you go back and watch my last video, we've had enough. Certain people like start standing up for themselves. I've had enough. You can't do this or all of that. I mean, I did it a few times myself. That's not going to work for me. You can't talk to me like that. Done, 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 done. Over, delete, 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 done. Our connection is over. Sorry. I don't put up with ignorance and arrogance. I have nothing to do with it. Done. So there's certain things that happen. But Mercury retrograde right now as well with the pre-shadow, miscommunications can happen very easy. So think before you speak. And if you feel you've said something that has offended somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know why I said that, I wasn't thinking or whatever, you can apologize to that person. So past people start coming back right now, and it's going to continue throughout the retrograde season. Gives you that time to reconnect with them. Maybe you want to apologize to them. Maybe that person wants to forgive you or you want to forgive them, vice versa. People come back in different seasons for reasons. you know, I always kind of get, ooh, who's going to come back from the past for me? Pay attention to who you're feeling, especially if you're like, I keep feeling and sensing this person. That person could be coming back, for reasons. Don't start a new relationship during Mercury retrograde, though. Don't, because there's so many complications, miscommunications, you know, oh, everything. And I have a lot of bookings in July with podcasts and stuff like, oh my God. So I'm like, hey, tech, let's work through this really well. So so now let's have a little chat with the cards. I don't use cards with people because I'm clairvoyant. I get messages from the spirit world at any given time. I never know what messages are going to come through. It just happens. So we're doing YouTube here. So we're going to be talking to more collective what messages are for you collectively. It could relate to you or it might not. I just ask the universe what messages is for the collective right now. From the 20th to the 26th of June. What the message, and do things whatever it takes to bring you peace. Like I chant every day myself and lots of different things and meditate. I meditate quite a few times a day with the Christ consciousness I have for years. Okay. So what is the message? The 20th to the 26th of June? Oh, yes. Earth magic. So earth magic is where you're going to want to feel grounded. So if you're feeling not balanced or off kilt, and you very well might feel that this week, because if you've made endings with relationships or those changes, all of a sudden you could be a little scared of, oh my gosh, how do I know I'm on the right path or making the right decision? You can always book a reading with me and I can give you clarity anyways. However, there's many different ways to get grounded. So when we connect with the earth, go into nature walks, quiet spaces, quiet area, I'll show you the picture in a moment. I mean, I personally love trees. Trees have their own heartbeat. So this card I really like. There's little fairies, there's a little stone and this big, beautiful tree. I love it. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the tree. He's got his little face. I actually took a photo of a tree that has a face. It's on my photography account, Jeni Ji Photography. You can go check it out on Instagram if you want. I don't know what month or year it was, but you can scroll through it and there's a face on a tree. It's very boom. You see the eyes and the mouth and everything, right? So this is just so cool, incredibly cool. I love that. So we're gonna talk to the romance cards because this is soulmate twin flame again. We have back-to-back super moons right now, which is super duper, as I call it, more energy, more power to us, all of those things. So it's going to be bringing a lot out to the surface. 20th to the 26th. Calling in your soulmate, like, hello, like, hello. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualize help bring you together. So when you're looking for someone, make sure that you're looking at the qualities of what you're looking for. Attraction and being drawn to somebody, yes, but you don't know that person. Take a look at, are you guys wanting the same thing? What qualities are you looking for? Are you both wanting the same thing? Are you looking for casual dating, marriage, whatever it is? Take a look at, does that person want children? Maybe you don't. Maybe that person is not an animal lover and you have animals. Maybe that person, is from a different culture or religion that's going to cause issues. Like, we have to be very specific with what we want, and that's something that you don't push or force. You just allow things to naturally happen. Whenever our true person is going to come, it's just going to naturally happen when we're not looking, when unexpectedly. We can go looking and just find someone just because we're attracted to them and settle with them and then regret it. We all have our own journey. Some people are okay with that. It depends what you're looking for. So make sure you really take a look at what you want. What do they want? There's no such perfect relationship. Of course not. There's no such thing as perfect at all. However, certain, like compromises and such like that, making certain sacrifices, maybe your partner got a job way overseas and you're like, I don't want to move there. So then we have to negotiate and perhaps make certain sacrifices. So there's lots of involved with that, but write down the qualities and be very specific with what type of relationship you want. Surrender it. Don't force anything to happen. So some of you could be seeing, ooh, that person could be my future mate. That person, it might not be the right timing right now. Or, exactly. Past people come back. Maybe that person's single now. Maybe you're single now. But just not during Mercury retrograde, you guys. We can meet people. Don't rush anything. Slowly, slowly, slowly get to know someone. Don't rush it during the Mercury retrograde. Oh my gosh, no. So let's just have a little chat with the nature world. Nature world. So you're still going to be healing old wounds as well. That's going to continue. Don't run from things, face things. Messages coming out. Spirit world. Message from the spirit world right away. Honeybees. Community. Look at that. Maybe some of you are getting more drawn into your community or being more a part of your community. Maybe some of you have joined a community, you know, to learn about art. Maybe you're like, you know what, I'm going to get more involved with my neighborhood, with my community. I'm really drawn to that. Pay attention what you're drawn to. Your creative side is going to also come out this time. You could struggle with your ego more. Just sit back, tune in, listen to your heart and not your ego, of course. Maybe some of you are going to be like, you know what, I can't handle these so-called leaders. Maybe I'm going to run for office now. Actually, a couple of people who are wanting to run for office and everything. And I'm like, they're actually good people. And I'm like, wow, go for it. We need honest, genuine people, not these so-called leaders who are destroying our planet. But we're not going to go there. That's negative, right? So honeybee community, I love that. Especially in the summer, like right now, we haven't had summer yet where I'm at. It's been really cold weather and rainy every day this month. Like I normally buy flowers. I've not bought any flowers. We're getting flooded, really cold this month. So maybe in July that will happen. That maybe in July, I'm just saying, but we have no control over that. So I'm just going to pull a crystal card really quick. What's the crystal? I have a lot of different crystals. Love them. I actually wear what I get pulled towards when I'm looking for crystals I don't buy any more crystals because I have a lot, you know, um, but I love them. If I see a really nice crystal, you never know, but I stay away from the stores. So, oh, and I do have this crystal actually. It's not on my desk here, so I can't show it to you, but I actually have some pretty big pieces. Celestite, soothe your soul. Do what it takes to soothe your soul. You know how I said, do what it takes to bring that inner peace. get rid of the negativity in your life, you know, like your eyes open to maybe something somebody said to you. It has sure happened. And I'm like, wow, wow. I'm quite surprised you actually said something like that. Like, wow. I've seen it this week. I've seen it. And I'm like, wow, thank you, Spirit, for showing me that side to them. Thank you. You know, so pay attention and don't, that's their journey. You know what I mean? We all, I should say, have lessons to learn, of course. You know, let them make their own mistakes. We all make mistakes. Let them have regrets from what they said or did. It has nothing to do with you because you know your truth. You're standing in your own power. That's what happens when we know our self-worth, self-love. So soothe your soul. Go for a massage. You know, whatever it takes to soothe that soul. You know what I mean? Have a bath. Go for a shower. Like whatever it is. Like I don't know what works for you. Listen to what works for you. So until next week, hopefully the first interview will be out. Hopefully my team will get it out. I did the interview a little while ago. So hopefully they will get it out this week for you. You're going to be really surprised who I've interviewed and who is coming on. So until then, you want to book a reading with me, soulworkwithjenij.com. Till next time, namaste.